The Eagles organization accepted an invitation to the White House to commemorate its Super Bowl LII championship on June 5. The question is how many of the flock will be migrating to the nation's capital that day. The decision was a hot topic of discussion on Tuesday, day one of voluntary OTAs. "I'm excited to be going to be honored as world champions. It's a great honor," Doug Pederson said. "We're still working through some logistics right now, so we don't have all the details today, but excited to be going. So the head coach will be attending. As for Carson Wentz, I know for me, personally, if the team decides as a whole, most guys want to go or be a part of it, I'll be attending with them," he said. "I think it's just a cool way to receive the honor nationally and be recognized. I personally view it, I know some people do and everyone has their opinion on it, but I don't view it as a political thing whatsoever. I don't mess with politics very often." Wentz may not mess with politics, but Donald Trump's short tenure in office is the definition of polarizing, and it's impossible for some of his teammates to be apolitical when it comes to visiting the White House. "Because of the political climate we're in, it will be taken as a political statement one way or another, whether you want it to or not," said Brandon Brooks, who has yet to decide if he will be making the trip. "The biggest thing is you have to separate politics from the experience of going to the White House. Me, personally, it really is a tough decision, because the president we have now, I agree with some things and some I don't, so I'll be looking within myself." Some players such as Chris Long and Malcolm Jenkins are on record as saying they will not be going to the White House regardless of what the team as a whole decides. "For me, there's a lot going on with that administration and I don't think it's the time to really have any kind of productive or constructive conversations about policy," Jenkins said. "I definitely want to avoid being used as some kind of pawn. The way things have gone the last few months, I don't think the time is right for that." Long and several other players made it very clear that whatever your choice, it will have no ill effect in the locker room. "As far as teammates, yeah, we all have a choice, so nobody's judging anybody," Long said. "It's an honor to get to go to the White House and it means something different to everybody else." Zach Ertz echoed Long's sentiments about staying unified. "I'm still deciding. This isn't going to be a divisive moment in the locker room," Ertz said. "Guys are going to respect one another's opinion. One of the things I've spoken about is my wife, U.S. women's soccer player Julie Ertz, had gone in the past after they won the World Cup, and she spoke about how fun it was to go there and to learn so much. See the history. So just an opportunity to go there whether you agree with the organization that's in there or not. It's the premier building in this nation." Earlier this offseason, Eagles Vice President of Football Operations Howie Roseman explained why the price tag for Nick Foles would be high if they ever decided to trade him. Turns out, he wasn't kidding, because according to NFL Network's Mike Silver, the Eagles turned down an offer from the Cleveland Browns for the No. 35 pick in the 2018 draft. That seems like a more than fair price for the 29-year-old quarterback, who will be a backup if everything goes as planned in Carson Wentz's rehab. But the Eagles have been consistent in their valuation of Foles, first by not trading him and then giving him more money with a mutual option for the 2019 season. While Wentz was on the practice field Tuesday and looked great throwing the football and showing off some footwork, see story, it's clear the Eagles still have some concerns about Wentz's health in 2018. And having the Super Bowl MVP as a backup is the best insurance policy going. The report from Silver says that after the Eagles received the offer for Foles, they ran it by the quarterback, who told them he'd prefer to stay in Philadelphia. That also jives with Foles' public comments about wanting to remain in Philly. He said that he'd obviously like to be a starter again, but in the right situation. He became a starter in a bad situation once in St. Lewis. When talking about not trading Foles in March, Roseman mentioned the hit rate for certain rounds of the draft while weighing the prospect of trading an important piece like Foles. The Browns ended up keeping the No. 35 pick and took running back Nick Chubb out of Georgia, and it seems like the Eagles weren't in love with that general area of this year's draft. You'll remember, they traded back from their number 32 pick all the way to 49 to take tight end Dallas Goedert out of South Dakota State. While the No. 35 pick seems like it's just out of the first round, it's clear the Eagles, based on moving out of 32, didn't value that area this year. At least, not enough to part ways with Foles. He's still on the team because he's an incredibly valuable member of the Philadelphia Eagles, Roseman said at the annual NFL meetings in late March. When you talk about that position and what's gone on, you've seen it in the free agent market, you've seen it in the trade market. We're in the business of making sure we get the right value for the player. What our value is for a player is going to stick. During that same interview in March, Roseman was asked if he could see a situation unfold like the one that netted a first-round pick for Sam Bradford a few years ago. Roseman used his generic, "we'll do anything we think makes the team better" response. But if that type of opportunity arose, the Eagles would likely listen. With all the information we have, though, we know it would take a lot. Just a couple months before he's set to be enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Brian Dawkins is leaving his full-time role with the Eagles. The Eagles announced the news on Tuesday evening, saying Dawkins will continue to be a consultant for the team, while also pursuing other endeavors including entrepreneurship and philanthropy. Dawkins told NBC Sports Philadelphia's Derek Gunn that he plans on starting a non-profit company as a part of that work. Dawkins, 44, released the following statement: "I want to thank Jeffrey Lurie, Howie Roseman, Don Smolensky and Coach Pederson for blessing me with the opportunity to return to this great organization. This is a special time in Philadelphia Eagles history and I am grateful to have been a part of the team's first Super Bowl championship, something I wanted to help bring to this great city, one way or another. I will always cherish the relationships I have within the building and it was a privilege to work side by side with so many great people. I have put a lot of time and prayer into this decision, and after talking it over with my family and listening to the Lord, I am being called in a different direction as I take the next step in my life and career. Although I am leaving my full-time role in football operations, I will always be a part of the Eagles family and the Philadelphia community. I look forward to continuing to work with the organization as a consultant while I also pursue other endeavors that are extremely important to me and my family's purpose to inspire hope and increase the minds, bodies and souls of so many to come." Dawkins was made a full-time employee with the Eagles in August of 2016 and was given the title of Football Operations Executive after a 9-month stint working in the scouting department. At the time, it was explained that his role would be to help with player development. Aside from that, it wasn't uncommon to see Dawkins spending time with defensive backs on the field after practice, either. Speaking on NBC Sports Philadelphia's Quick Slants last February, Dawkins didn't shoot down the idea of one day becoming an NFL GM, which undoubtedly had Eagles fans picturing the day when their favorite player would be running the franchise. At the time, he said he didn't want to limit himself to anything. It looks like that day isn't coming, at least not anytime soon. The Eagles released the following statement on Tuesday evening: "Brian Dawkins will always be a Philadelphia Eagle. We greatly appreciate all of Brian's contributions to our football operations department over the last 2 seasons and we are excited that he will continue to help us going forward." As an NFL Hall of Famer and a Philadelphia Eagles legend, Brian is able to provide valuable perspective and draw on his extensive experience in the NFL while working in our front office. Our doors will always be open to him and we will support him in anything he does, both professionally and personally, as he continues his post-playing career.